Don't.
We try.
Hi, it's Randi Sloane with Real Life at the Long Island International Film Expo, and I am standing here with a lovely couple, Susannah and Timothy Nolan, who are married, and they have some films in this festival, and I'm going to have them tell you about it.
We were lucky enough to have 3 films in this festival through the good graces of the Long Island International Film Festival. I had Jumper, which was directed by Jeremiah Kipp and produced by Jen Plotsky, and tonight is Hotline, which is also directed by Jeremiah Kipp and produced by Jen Plotsky.
And I wrote The Drop after Jeremiah asked me to write a 5-minute film that 2 actors could tape on their phones because we were all in isolation.
Correct.
And that's essentially how that all came about. And fortunately, both actors were also editors,
Yes.
and we put that together, and it turned out to be something. So
They
that
did a
was-
great job. I mean,
They were amazing.
you felt that tension between their phone calls, just that they were this estranged couple, and
exactly.
they were fighting. You know, they were both, of course, their goal was to see their son.
Right.
But tell me a little bit about your film.
Well, there's 2 of them, but there's Jumper, which was sort of a Rashomon-like telling of a story of a woman who jumps in front of a subway train, but also from the perspective of all the different people in her life, her husband, her sister, people who are commuters, her father.
The motorman.
The motorman, who was played by Tim Nolan, because why not use your husband? And the thing that I think was unique about all 3 of these films is that they were filmed during the pandemic, they were self-taped, and yet we actually benefited from this isolation because, first of all, the scripts were themselves inspired by that feeling of isolation,
Right.
which happens in Jumper because the mother and postpartum is
course.
about feeling kind of alone.
Alone.
And unsupported. And so I was delving into the memories of when I was a young mom for that. And then Hotline was about 2 people who are just in isolation. One is the answerer of a Thanksgiving turkey hotline. And another one is a woman who's just lonesome on Thanksgiving and doesn't have anybody. And so she calls into the hotline and makes up the fact that I'm telling the end of the story at the beginning. Spoiler alert.
Don't watch this until
But-
after the
Yeah.
series. Okay.
But it's about, but you can write about the pandemic without writing about the pandemic because
Exactly.
we're talking about feeling in some sort of, void, and you're trying to reach out for connection.
Right.
And I think if there's a connection to all 3 of these films, it's that sense of isolation but desire to reach and connect, and even if it's through a dysfunctional way. And sadly,
Whatever.
in Jumper, it's about
Right.
the mom who isn't able to grab onto what's around her and find that connection in time.
I think as artists, we were all trying to find that connection,
Oh, yeah.
something during the beginning of the pandemic. And, I think it's so wonderful that everybody or so many people made these films during that time. We were lost.
Yes.
Well, it's. I mean, as artists, it's what keeps us sane.
Of course.
And it's our
totally.
and in a strange way, it's like, all right, well, my mom would say, like, life hands you lemons, you make lemonade.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm not going to get a bigger batch of lemons than this, so
Well.
you might. Yeah, well, let's hope not. But you just, you work with what you got because you got to
Exactly.
keep working.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the cool thing about having like people like Jeremiah around, because I knew he was going to keep working, and he was always like drumming up this, that, and the other thing.
We
And,
get an IM on the Facebook scroll, and it's like, it was like he was a devourer of
Yeah.
material. It's like, write me something else, write me something else.
he was just-
But you know what? We needed the prompts.
Yeah.
And somehow between all of it, there was this like feeling of like, let's grab for what's good.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
talk about a lotus grows through the mud. You know what I mean? And so we came up with, when people ask you, where were you during the pandemic? What did you
This is-
do?
right.
We came up with 3 freaking films.
And how
So
awesome
right.
is that? How
Yes.
awesome
And
is that?
what
Go figure.
amazes us is that the Long Island International Film Festival like gave us a chance to see it on a big screen
Yep.
after we've been watching it on little tiny computer screens.
Or phones.
And
Yeah.
this-
Phones.
And what's amazing to us is how beautiful they actually turned out to be on
Yeah.
a big screen.
I'm so glad you got to see
You know,
it.
it was
on
such a
that.
treat and such
Yeah.
a privilege
Aw.
to get that chance and to be among all these other filmmakers who are out
Yeah.
there doing it. It's just like, this feels almost
You
normal.
realize how much you
Yeah.
miss seeing people.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
And the
where
energy.
can absolutely. Well, that's
You
what
know,
you
the
miss
energy
most.
of
That's-
creativity and the energy of enthusiasm and believing in the future.
There you go.
There you
See,
go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
totally.
Where can everybody find information on the films and your
Uh,
social media?
We are on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
You can search for us there. Also, The Drop and a couple of other films that we did during the pandemic are on timothy-nolan.com.
Okay.
And people can go there and find out the latest of what's going on.
Awesome.
So that's cool.
And my very tiny production company is called Alpha Mare Films, and I'm working on my website right now. So if you wait a week or two, it'll be up there, and we'll be able to start posting some of the Vimeo
Great.
prints of this if you didn't get a chance to see it right now.
Great. Congratulations
Thank
to
you
both
so
of
much.
you.
Thank you for the chance.
And good luck.
Thank
Yes.
you
All
so
right,
much.
thanks.